Hello, today we are with Natasha, and she's one of my favorite bloggers on the platform. And I'm so happy that you are here today with me.
I'm so excited to be here on a special day celebrating you and your birthday.
Yes, thank you a lot. And it's a very nice gift for me talking with you. And I'm so excited. And I would like to begin with your life story because you have an interesting life story. And can you tell me about yourself? How did your acting career begin, and how did you decide to move to Los Angeles and leaving your family?
Sure. I guess we can start from the beginning. I am a first generation. My parents are from Pakistan and they moved to America back in the 80s. So I was born here, I grew up here, and then we moved to Canada in about 1999, 2000. I fell in love with acting in school. It was kind of hard trying to find your place when you are from a different culture and you're just trying to figure out who you are. And so I was always really shy when I was younger. And we started doing school plays and when I was really little, maybe 6, 7. And I really enjoyed it. I got picked to do certain roles and it made me so happy. It made me feel safe. It made me feel confident to get on stage and perform. And I really thought, oh, maybe this is something that I can do because I wanted to keep that feeling of joy that it brought me. And so as I got older, this was not something that was really accepted in the culture that I come from. They didn't want me to pursue it, but it was like my dream. I had to do it. And so when I was around 19, 20, I was working a good corporate job and I decided to quit and move to back to the States from Canada so that I could pursue my dreams. I have an older brother. He was very supportive of me and he was really like rooting for me and championing for me. And so while other people in my family wanted me to get married, he was like, no, you should go pursue your dreams and try to be happy and, just try to make your life dreams come true. And so I ended up in LA back in 2010. And so I've been here for a few years and it's been a journey. It's not easy to break into the industry or to try and book acting roles, but that's also why I started being more active on social media and I started my blog because I really wanted to share the journey and to help other people who may also have a dream to know that you shouldn't give up and it's okay to pursue things that maybe other people don't support or they don't understand about you. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Hmm. And um, then acting is your passion in your life. Can we say that? And would you live without acting?
Yeah, it's definitely my passion. I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. I was actually telling my husband, I feel like it saved my life in so many ways because it gave me so much purpose and it gave me something to look forward to, even when times were hard in my life. It was just a way for me to maybe share stories that could help other people and to do it through characters. And so it's really been a part of me. And even though it's been really challenging trying to do it professionally, it's something that's just so close to my heart, if that makes sense.
Hmm. And I think when I think about your life, I think it's important that you separate from others, and then you came to Los Angeles and you are making decisions about it. And I would like to talk about these topics. Um, for example, what does bonding mean to you, and how would you explain its importance in your life?
So that's definitely changed as I've gotten older because when you grow up in a culture where family is so important, you sometimes blindly follow people or traditions that may not be the best for you. And so, with me moving so far away and having lived on my own for as long as I have, I have had to learn how to break certain cycles and redefine bonding. And so, bonding for me is safe space with people who truly love you, who want to see you be well, and you in turn provide the same for them. And so, I'm very selective of people that I allow in. I have a really close knit group of friends that I've learned to build trust with over time. And it's still something that I'm working on because when you live in a big city like LA and you are breaking all these, cultural barriers as well, sometimes you get a little closed off, even though you don't want to. It's hard, but sometimes you don't really want to open yourself up to people. But it's something that I've definitely been working on because I really do I love having good interactions. I love talking to good people, like right now, having this conversation with you. So it's just about being mindful of who you allow in. And bonding to me is being with the people that really want to see you do and be well the same way you would want for them.
And my generation is like that. We don't need anyone. We want to live alone and stuff like that. What do you think about these opinions? Because, I mean, we need love.
Yeah, I think so. Independence is very important. I'm very much a big supporter of, especially as women, being
Mhm.
independent. But I've learned, I just turned 35 this year, and I've learned that we can't do it all by ourselves. Like it really does pay to have good people around you, and it serves you so much better to have good people around you. And that can be chosen family, that can be friends that have become family. It's something that I definitely had to learn to become more open to again because, like I said, I was so closed off and I didn't think I could trust anybody because of the unfortunate experiences that I had in my life. But I think it's so important. I just don't think any of us can do anything all alone. And community can take you so far. People can hold space for you, they can love you, they can root for you, they can cheer you on when sometimes you may not be able to do that for yourself.
And maybe we can talk about the process. How did you bond after your bad experiences? Because it's not that easy.
No, it's not easy at all. And I'm a big component of mental health, and especially for people that we come from cultures where nobody talks about this stuff. So I'm in therapy. I have a therapist, and she's helped me so much. I'm learning to trust again, also because I have an amazing husband. We've been together for 7 years this year, and he's always tried to encourage me to stay open and to be able to see the good in people because he knew that that's how I was, and it just kind of got buried underneath layers of bad experiences. So I think that that's important. And it's also just reminding yourself of what do you want to do in this life? Like, what does happiness look like to you? And for me, I really wanted to help other people. That was a big part of why I started the blog and being active on social media. And I couldn't help people if I was going to close myself off to people. And so I would have missed opportunities to chat with amazing people like you, to connect with all these beautiful people that have come into my life because of social media. And I think that that's just going back to remembering why we're here and what we want to do with our lives. And therapy has helped me a lot. To be honest with you, it's helped me so, so much.
Um, Also, for example, I would like to talk about the transience of the world because when you experience loss and losing friends or stuff like that, you start thinking about the transience of everything. Then, how do you relate the transience of everything in the world to bonding? Because they seem like they are in conflict at the beginning.
Absolutely. So I've been in LA since 2010. And so I've lost a lot of relationships, specifically family relationships. I'm not in contact with a lot of my family. And so that was really hard on me, having to learn to mourn the loss of people that are still very much alive. And that was a big part of why I became so closed off for a little while. And I think that that is it's a conscious choice that we have to make to see the world through a lens of love. And it's easy to look at all the bad things that are happening in the world and to think that maybe this is it, there isn't anything else out there. And I can totally understand that if people do, because sometimes it's hard, the things that we go through in life. It can be really hard, it can be isolating. It can feel like, what's the point of even trying to build relationships or to be close with people? But I think that it's all about choosing every day to see the glass maybe half full and to see how, if we remain open, if we believe in the power of love, if we believe in the power of community, how that can bring light and goodness into our lives as well.
And it's like when you have enough goodness in our lives, then we can overcome the bad experiences because, I mean, they are mucher.
Yeah, I agree with you because I used to compare love to a lot of things that were not really love. And
Mhm.
then meeting my husband and having good friends in my life, they taught me what love is really about. It's not all those bad things that happened to me, and it's not all those unfortunate relationships that fell apart. And it's all about like redefining and reframing how we look at things.
And what did you think that, I mean, what was the love for you and what is love for you right now? What is the difference?
I used to think that love was people can do whatever they want to you and that you still show up for them anyways and you still be good to them and it's okay because bad things happen. And I realize now that, yeah, we're going to make mistakes and it is about forgiveness, but it's not about how much bad you can endure. That's not love. People that actually love you, they're not going to keep harming you over and over or hurting you or putting you in positions where you question yourself constantly. I've realized that love now is when we make mistakes, owning up to our mistakes, saying, I'm sorry, and also trying to do better so that we don't hurt the people that we love again and again and again.
Yes, and then I would like to talk about separating because when it hurts a lot, we need to change some things. And um how was the point in your life where you separate from others, like the point where you made decisions about separating from someone, or it can be a thing, not person maybe.
It's probably one of the hardest things that we'll ever have to do because parting ways with people it's a really sad thing, right? Especially if they've been in your life, say if it's family or if it's somebody you were in a relationship with or a friendship, even when friendships come to an end. I think that's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do, if I'm being honest with you. Sometimes it wasn't even my choice. Sometimes other people decided that they were no longer going to be in my life and I didn't really understand why. I wasn't really left with an explanation. I guess your generation calls it ghosting, right? Where people just ghost you. So that's happened to
Yeah.
me. And it's happened, unfortunately, from family members, even, where I didn't get an explanation. And one day you look up and they're just not in your life anymore. And then there were times where I had to be the one to decide, hey, I can't keep letting this person um, be in my life in a close proximity anymore. And it was really hard in the instances where I'm the one that made the decision. I had to do it because I was trying really hard to create some peace for myself. And if people were coming to disrupt that peace and reigniting traumas or maybe causing harm to my mental health, I had to make the hard decision to choose myself and to put myself first. And it was never easy, to be honest with you.
And did you feel guilty about these decisions when you say stop?
Yeah, it's it's a lot of guilt that comes with it, especially being a Pakistani woman. Like there's so much guilt and shame associated with the way that we are raised because we are taught that we should just endure things and never speak up for ourselves. And it's just not who I am. I don't I don't know what happens after this life, but while I'm here, I want to be able to live it to the fullest and I want to be able to give myself the things that I may not have received when I was younger. I want to be able to give myself that love now and that respect now and it's really hard and there's a lot that comes up with it, but I think we're all just doing the best that we can.
And then separation also has a significant because when it comes to boundaries, we need to develop our boundaries to maintain this separation, maybe. And how we do that, or how do you do that in your own experience?
I think it starts with defining what type of life you want to live and who you want to be. And then you make a list, whether literally write it out or a mental list of are these relationships here to help me become this person? Are they going to help me grow? Are they helping me move forward? Or are they doing the opposite? And then you have to just start making the changes. You know, maybe be vocal and let people know, hey, I'm just gonna do this a little bit for me and I need to just take a step back. Or sometimes if it isn't really safe to tell people, you just slowly start to remove yourself and make the changes that are necessary for you to do what you need to do for yourself over here.
But when you have feelings, I mean, it's harder, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe it's the most important thing to choose ourselves then, not our feelings all the time. Because,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, we think that love is so important, but it can be destructive and dan- dangerous. So we must be also careful about the love that we choose, like you said.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important to figure out what love actually means. I don't think love is supposed to be dangerous or hurt you.
Mhm.
We're going to make mistakes as human beings, and we're going to have to learn to own up to our actions and make apologies. But it's about having boundaries for yourself to know what you are okay with and what you are not okay with.
Yeah, yeah. And I would like to ask more questions about boundaries and with your family. I mean, we are coming from the Eastern culture. We are both coming from, and the things are different from the West, I think. So, I think it's harder for us because there is like, um, you are a family, but you don't have your own life, and you have to put up with people to go on. So saying no is hard sometimes. And how do you say no?
I think for me, it helps that I live far away from everybody. It wasn't why I moved in the first place. I moved because I wanted to pursue my acting dreams, but there were many times I could have gone back and I didn't because I wanted those boundaries in place. So it was important for me to have my independence, which I feel is really important. Um, it's harder for people to force their opinions on you. They still will, but it's harder if they're not the ones paying for everything. So when I'm making my own money, you can give me your opinion, but that doesn't mean I have to listen to it because I make my own money and I'm paying for my own bills. So that helps a lot. Also, redefining. So, for example, I have family members that I talk to, but I need to have boundaries. I don't talk to them all the time. I don't always pick up the phone when they call. That's a little bit of a boundary right there. I'll get back to them when I get back to them. Do you know what I mean? Instead of feeling like, oh my God, I have to answer because they're calling, or I'm going to be a bad, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
bad kiss, you know, how we criticize ourselves or we feel shame and guilt.
Yeah,
Just little things that we can make little tweaks to in that way.
yeah. And also it's also about being an adult, right? Like making our own money and stuff like that. And it's also interesting that I remember from your blog and you choose your husband and then things were going bad with your family and there are many people who are afraid of making decisions about their love life and maybe they marry with people that they don't like. What do you think about this and what would you recommend?
I think it goes back to, I think we only get, as far as I know, I only have one life to live and I have to live it. I have to be married to this person. I have to spend every day with them, not whoever has a problem with it. So I know it's hard, especially if we come from cultures like ours. Like I completely understand that. And I think safety above all else. We need to make sure that we are safe, especially as women. So that's something to take into consideration to know what may or may not be safe to pursue and how to go about it. So with that out of the way first, secondly, who makes you happy? Because I have to live with this person. My family's not living with them. They're not the ones that are going to have children with this person. It's going to be me. And you know, I found someone that I love that his morals and values and goals align with mine. And I can't live my life for everybody else because I they lived their lives. They've made the decisions that they were going to make. They've done what they were going to do with their lives. It's my turn now to live what it is that makes me happy. So I think that's the only thing I can really say is about safety first, of course, because I know that not everybody's fortunate enough to be able to make these decisions, you know, where we can go off and do what we want. And then after that, if you can make sure that you're safe, it's not up to other people who you should love. We don't, it's not fair to expect other people to just marry blindly and to spend the rest of their lives with people and then they're miserable and then they perpetuate that toxic cycle and pass it down to their kids.
Mm, yes. And thank you a lot. That was my all questions and I'm so happy being with you today again. And it was
I'm
so
so
nice to talk with you.
I'm so happy I got to talk with you too. Thank you so much for including me
Yeah,
in this. And I'm wishing you a beautiful, beautiful birthday. And I hope this
yeah.
next year brings you so much joy, sweetheart. You deserve it.
Thank you a lot. Thank you. It means a lot to me. And yes, I'm happy that I'm with you on my birthday because, yes, I really like you. And I take you as an example as a woman and beautiful human being always.
Thank you, sweetheart. That means a lot. And the pleasure is mine. Thank you for
Yeah,
spending your special day with me. I appreciate it so much. And we'll keep
thank
in
you.
touch and we'll chat
Yeah,
again soon.
sure. And
Okay.
see you.
See you soon. Take care.